Thank you for a very thoughtful introduction, which raises a lot of questions, which I hope we'll go into in the discussion. But at a very headline level, what you were describing is dynamic public economics. Dynamic public economics as if time mattered. Pace, urgency is the essence here because it's the cumulative total of emissions that counts. Public economics in the sense that people's learning, people's understanding of issues change, and indeed public policy should think about how to induce changes in that learning. Dynamic public economics in the sense that any kinds of evaluations of gains in the future versus gains now are going to depend very strongly on how well off you think you might be in the future relative to how well off you might think now. So anybody who talks about the discount rate goes straight to the bottom of the class, because what matters is that there are many discount rates depending on not only obviously the good that you look at, but also what kinds of circumstances you imagine for the future. And those, of course, are, if you excuse the words, intensely endogenous. The risks that we run depend on what we do now. Our question is, what kinds of pricing structures, varying over space, varying over assumptions, varying over time, so we talk about corridors of prices, what kinds of prices, coupled with sensible, reasonably wise other policies, we also ask the question, what prices do you need if they're not so wise, but what kind of prices could be expected to induce changes in emissions through behavior, investment, and so on, consistent with staying well below 2 degrees. So how do you use prices to deliver on Paris in shorthand is what we were asked to do, and it is important. Note that expressing it that way it indicates straight away that we are not examining or discussing the social cost of carbon as measured by the kinds of social damages that an extra ton of carbon would bring to the world. That itself, of course, is enormously dependent on what kind of path you think you're going to follow for the reasons I've already discussed. That's not where we are, but we observe in an appendix that because most modelings of the social cost of carbon, most modelings used in the estimation of social cost of carbon leave out so much of what really matters in terms of risks that one can say that whatever numbers they come up with, they are very serious underestimates of what that might be. We leave the question there and we put it in an appendix because it wasn't the question we were asked.